Keyonte George gets injured. How bad was it? Let's talk about it. It's the Hoopsner Show. All right, guys, so Keyonte George left this game for the Utah Jazz after about 10 minutes of play with what looked like a really bad ankle sprain. He gets off the floor. He's helped off by Ochai Agbaji. He actually had to be helped off the floor. It didn't look good. So before we just kind of talk about the severity and things, let's just talk about the game a little bit. The Utah Jazz beat the Denver Nuggets in Las Vegas Summer League. This Denver Nuggets team is just not that interesting. I believe it was it Strother they picked late in the first round, and he had a pretty decent night. But he didn't have a lot of great numbers, and there's not really anything about this Denver Nuggets team that's interesting. They go 0-3 for the Summer League now at this point, and their Summer League is going to be over here pretty soon. So they're probably not too worried about Summer League considering they are the NBA champions, but you know, you'd like to see some sort of development of some of these young guys, but guys like Brown aren't even playing because they did so well. So, you know, I doubt Denver Nuggets fans are losing too much sleep over Summer League. All right, let's talk about the Utah Jazz and a little bit more about Keyonte George. So let's bring up the display here and make me smaller. Nope. There we go. All right, so it's just Keyonte George today, and I doubt a lot of people are watching this for any other reason. Keyonte George played 10 minutes, and in that time, look at that, plus 19. Absolutely incredible. I mean, he was 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. Obviously, this is just 10 minutes, so who knows, had he not gotten injured, what he would have done. But 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And one thing you can take from this small amount of time is that he was playing great defense. The effort was there. You could tell that he was rested. He had a hop in his step. I mean, he looked happy. He looked like he was playing well. So that was why it was such a bummer to get the injury. And then, of course, at 10 minutes, 14 seconds of play, he turns his right ankle really badly. The ankle honestly bent all the way sideways, and he goes to the floor. Like I said, Ochai Agbaji and a trainer helped get him off the floor. The good news is that Tony Jones was there and said that he saw Keyonte George walking around normally afterwards, not much of a limp. Now, that thing may swell up and things may be different, so we'll find out, and we'll have to watch what the Utah Jazz say about it, but good chance that he may be missing, some time. We'll see. The good news for Jazz fans, if you're going to get injured, probably the best time is now because he has a month or two of summer to just get better, rehab that, and get back for training camp. The hope is that it's just not a severe ankle sprain. Maybe, hopefully, it wasn't as bad as it looked, So, not great, but luckily he has time to get better, and hopefully he can be back to normal by training camp. Now, the thing about Keyonte George, he was a plus 19. Look at everyone else. Everything just dropped off a cliff once Keyonte left, because guess what? He's an absolute star. And I think in some ways you could argue him not being on the floor showed just as much about how good he's been as when he was on. Obviously, when he's on the floor, he's just playing at an incredible level, but the Jazz were up by like 26 at one point. They win this game. And I know there was a last second 3, but they win this game with single digits. The game was just completely different once Keyonte George left. And there was a few things I wrote about it on SLC Dunk. You can read that there too. But he does so many different things because of his offensive prowess. Guys have to absolutely guard him. They have to know where he is at all times. He's getting their best defender, and he's creating gravity. So he's pulling guys to him. But guys can't just be on him blanketing him because he can drive to the rim. And so what he's doing is it spreads the floor for everyone else. It gives lanes for cutters and things. And what we've really learned this Summer League is that Keyonte George is a gifted passer. He's finding guys. And, one thing I noticed tonight too, and some of these other games during Summer League, is he has really incredible, he just has a knack for timing the pass. He waits for the exact perfect moment when it's Micah Potter or Luka Samanic or Ochai Agbaji or one of those guys cutting to the rim. He waits for the exact perfect moment, and then he's been making just precision passes, and because those open lanes are there from him having the ball in his hands, it makes that even more, it makes it easier for other guys, and because he's got that passing ability, he's making that pass. Other types of passes he's making entry passes that are helping guys score easier. Multiple times because of the way he has to be guarded, it's giving space to the post player and allowing them to have room to work. And so they're able to cut or make a quick move and score. And a lot of this is because, one, Keyonte George is creating that gravity and that open space, and he's also making well-timed passes that are hitting guys in the right spot. I mean, he's putting the ball right on a dime, and it's fun to watch. And it's just a bummer that he gets hurt and Jazz fans aren't going to watch him. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe it wasn't that bad because he was walking around. But my guess is that thing is going to swell. My guess is he might, we'll see. I have no idea. But hopefully it's not too bad. My guess is he's in treatment right now as we speak to hopefully make that ankle injury not so bad. But I would be surprised. Sorry, it's late. I would be surprised if we see Keyonte George anymore of the Summer League. He's proved everything. He's a playmaker. He's an absolute elite scorer. And in this game, he did show some defense too. He had how many rebounds did he have in just 10 minutes? He had 3 rebounds. And he had a nice steal. And you know what else he does? He pushes it in the fast break. He's fast too. I mean, I can't get over how good Keyonte George is. I think he's the absolute starting point guard solution for Utah. He just has to earn it. And I think, you could tell he was emotional at the end of the game, really bummed, had his towel over his face, because I think he's ready to earn that starting role. And I think he absolutely can get it. He's just got to work for it. And Will Hardy wants him to work for it. But man, is he such an incredible, incredible find for the Utah Jazz. Ochai Agbaji, let's talk a little bit about him. Ochai Agbaji was 5 for 13. The 2-point percentage has not been great for him. He did hit 3 of 9 from 3. 5 turnovers because he has the ball in his hands, but he's not going to have the ball in his hands a lot during the season. 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. This block was an incredible transition block. Ochai Agbaji has really showed the Jazz everything he can do and everything he can't. And at this point, I think you have a good idea of what you're getting from Ochai Agbaji this season. And what you're getting is an elite 3-and-D player. He is a high-level starter that can play off the ball. And that's what he is. And he can do a few things with the ball in his hands. He can straight line drive to the rim. He can do some of that. But what we do know from him is he makes athletic plays. He can shoot the ball from 3. And he's athletic. He'll rebound the ball. And he plays defense. He'll get steals. He'll make blocks. He'll defend his man. He's pretty quick on his feet. So he's pretty good at defending. So I think we've seen everything we need to from Ochai Agbaji, and my guess is now he's just got a battle in camp to hopefully get that starting spot. My guess is he's fighting for that number 2 spot, the shooting guard, and he will be more of an off-ball shooter on offense and then a really important player in transition and on the defensive end. He just does so many things, and he's so athletic, and he's big, and he's long, and he plays hard. He's just a valuable player, and you want him on the floor. And it was nice, just nice to see him bond with Keyonte George. Is that the future backcourt of the Utah Jazz? Keyonte George at the 1, Ochai Agbaji at the 2 with Lauri Markkanen, probably John Collins next season, and Walker Kessler? Probably. And then if Taylor Hendricks is really good, we haven't even seen Taylor Hendricks. Maybe he'll play in the next game. Apparently, he's day-to-day. That's been the report multiple days now, day-to-day. So if he plays next game, that would be pretty fun to actually get to see Taylor Hendricks. But what a bummer not to see Taylor Hendricks play with Keyonte George, because that would have been a blast. But you know what? Maybe the future of this Utah Jazz team, at least over the next year or two, is hopefully seeing you, and hopefully it happens because you just drafted Taylor Hendricks 9. But see Keyonte George at the 1, Ochai Agbaji at the 2, Lauri Markkanen, your small forward, a mix of either Taylor Hendricks or John Collins at the power forward, and then Walker Kessler at center. And my goodness, is that a fun team. And if they can just develop and play together and get some time on the floor, then you've got something really special. And then in 2-3 years, when those players have really developed into what they can become, then you start getting more draft talent. I mean, don't forget, Keyonte George is on this team because of the Wolves trade. He was the Wolves pick. Taylor Hendricks was the Jazz pick, but Utah got Keyonte George because of Minnesota. So what an absolute steal. Not a lot else to say in this game. I just felt like the impact of Keyonte George was absolutely palpable. And everyone, let's just end with that thought. Everyone who says, you know, oh, you can't, it's just Summer League. It's just Summer League. Well, guess what? Watch this game from the time, watch it it looked like with Keyonte George on the floor, and then watch it with Keyonte George not on the floor. It was night and day. The absolute impact of that guy on the offensive end was unbelievable. And I think when things matter and he's rested and he plays well on defense, because honestly, he got this steal tonight just from putting in some effort that he was not putting in last game. And I think last game he was just trying to conserve energy. I mean, I don't know why he couldn't be a 1.5 steals per game guy. Why not? He's long, he's quick, he's fast. You know, he's the type of guy that just kind of has a nose for the ball. And so I could definitely see him being a nice steals guy. And then we know what he can do in transition. So such a bummer, guys. Such an absolute bummer to see Keyonte George injured. So, I hate it because I don't know if Taylor Hendricks is going to play the next game. And I like watching Keyonte George just destroy opposing Summer League squads. It's just fun. So let's hope that, you know, what a Summer League. All 3 of the Jazz rookies are injured. Just an absolute bummer. But let's hope at least one of those players comes back from injury, Taylor Hendricks, because it would be nice to watch, right? It would be fun to see how impactful he is defensively, because there was a lot of people that argued that, you know, obviously Wembanyama is going to be the best defensive player from that draft, but a lot of people had Taylor Hendricks as their second best defender. So it would be nice to watch and see if that actually translates. Everything's translated to an absolute crazy level with Keyonte. It's actually better than he was in the college game because they had him playing small forward. Now let's see if Taylor Hendricks, if it all translates or whatever. He may be jittery, kind of like Keyonte was in his first game, but I really, really hope we see him get some minutes. All right, let's give a shout out to our All-Stars tonight, guys. That's pretty much all we got. Not a lot else to really talk about this game, but let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. All right, let's give a shout out to Baby Elliot Matson, Christian House Money to Haas, Ezekiel Raicibe, the man from down under, See ya, Lexalator, Built Ford Tough, Alexander Tufts, Jorge Arrizaga Mimigo de Bajo, Jordan the Goat Best Roll, TGD Total Game Domination, Tyson Price, The Price is Right, X marks the spot for Zintis, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, DW to CB, Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer, Patrick Kubo the Connoisseur, and Robert Hall of Fame. Guys, also a lot of you sent me really nice messages. I got emotional last video just talking about what happened, my grandma passing away, and I just really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the kind words and messages. I sure appreciate it. Thank you to all you guys that are on the channel. You're amazing. I appreciate every single one of you. If you're just viewing this and you're a regular viewer, that's great. For all my channel members, especially All-Stars, but all the channel members and rookies and starters, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And if you're new here and you've stayed this long, you might as well subscribe to the channel, right? Hit the subscribe button, maybe smash the like, leave me a comment. Let me know, what should we let each other know? Does Keyonte George start at point guard for the Utah Jazz next season? Let me know in the comments.